So there are fragrances that you find in discount stores, and a lot of them people just pass over because they look cheap and cheesy. Some of them are clones. I have one of them. Want to know what it is? Then stay tuned. So in the fragrance world, a lot of people, and I'm guilty of it from time to time myself, we see things in discount stores or rack stores or whatever you want to call them, and sometimes they look a little cheap, a little cheesy, and we tend to pass on them. We sometimes get the notion that maybe because they're not in a security case or in a box that they're not going to perform well. Who's going to put a cheap fragrance inside a security case anyway? Well, every now and then you run into one of those fragrances that do perform pretty good. I actually happen to have one of them. And just because it performed well on me doesn't mean that it's going to perform well on the next person. And one of the fragrances that I decided to go ahead and pick up is from the house called Emerge. And this is the fragrance. And I actually had somebody in the comment section when I showed it before want to know what this was like. What did it smell like? Somebody actually commented and told me what it smelled like because I couldn't put my finger on it. I know I've smelled this DNA before, and I knew it was like neroli or whatever kind of note that is in like Mugler cologne, vetiver or something like that. I couldn't put my finger on it. And then when the person told me what it was supposed to be a clone of, I was like, duh, it's obvious now. And I looked through my collection, and lo and behold, if you can see that, it reminds you of this. And no, the bottles don't look alike, but the gradient outsiding is almost identical. Although this is more plastic and more thicker than this, it's the same design pattern. And this is DunhillIcon, for those of you who don't know. So one of the more popular fragrances in the fragrance community. Not many people talk about this like they used to. I actually like this fragrance because I'm a fan of neroli and vetiver and stuff like that, and it works well with me. I can't speak for other people, but for me it works fine. But that is what you get when you spray this or smell this. You get this. It's like a more inexpensive version. You can find these around the holidays in like TJ Maxx and Ross and places like that in a gift set for like, I don't know, 40, 50, maybe $60. These you'll find, and I still have the price, $12.99. So, I mean, if you don't mind having this cheesy looking bottle, you do get a decent fragrance. The performance on this, I got about 6 hours out of this. Longevity projection on this was like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. So it wasn't that bad off my skin. Now, obviously, a lot of people spray their clothes. I'm not a big advocate of that. Especially, sometimes things stain clothes. And this is like a blue liquid in here. So I don't know if you really want to get that on your clothes, but especially a white tee. But it smells good. You can tell the quality of this is actually well below the DunhillIcon. But this still gives you a nice, very nice, crisp, clean. It's like slightly sweet, but I think that's more of like the neroli or the vetiver that's in this, one of the two. Now, I did try to look up the note breakdown on this. I thought I found it, but it was actually the one for the Noir. I don't own the Noir. I have seen that one. I want to get it, but I already have a fragrance that smells similar to that one also. I only bought this one because I couldn't figure out what this resembled. But hey, if it keeps me from using up my good juice and keeps this on the shelf a little longer, then hey, I'm all for wearing this one for a while. Now, This is not going to be a fragrance that you can wear every day. I do suggest wearing this more in spring than summer. You can get away with it in the summer, but you know, vetiver and neroli and those bright fragrances, they work well for the summer. It's just too hot, and sometimes they get a little cloying and aggravating and stuff. And so fragrances like this one, I would much rather wear in the spring. I like this fragrance. This is not one I'm going to repurchase if I run out. It was just a test run for me just to see what this would be like and if anyone would be interested. This video may not even get that many views, but you know, it is what it is, man. I can't complain. I like this fragrance. It smells good. It's definitely a dupe, clone, copy, or knockoff of DunhillIcon. But you can tell, like I said, the difference. You can tell that the quality is much, much cheaper than a fragrance like this. But for somebody not wanting to spend a whole bunch of money on a fragrance and still smell somewhat the same, because like I always say, I say it, Trey says it, Sam says it, a few other reviewers say it. If you never show anybody what you're wearing or tell them what you're wearing, who's going to know? Most of the time, people are just going to tell you smell good and they're going to go about their business. And that's it. So you don't have to be somebody that advertises or shows your collection all the time, in which I wasn't a big advocate of doing this either. But obviously it works. Who knew? But you don't walk around with this on your neck like Flavor Flav does his clock and advertise what you're wearing. People just know you smell good or you don't smell good, one of the two. So with that being said, y'all, I am out of here. Here is to smelling great. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.